After configuring the channel properties, let's have a look at the configuration of the new boundary client. The polling tab configures how often the client communicates with the server. I can select one of 4 different polling methods. I can set the client to poll continuously, once every 15 minutes, once an hour, or even once a day. This gives you total flexibility with the configuration of the new boundary client. The new boundary client requires very little bandwidth. That's why the default value is 10 minutes. The polling interval may need to be adjusted up or down depending on things like the number of computers in the channel, the number of configuration groups you created in the channel, and how frequently you deploy policies from that channel. As a general rule, I configure the client to poll once every 15 minutes and go from there. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to be polling continuously, but you would never do this in a production environment. If you're going to leave a lot of time between polling intervals, you can use the Check for Poll Request feature. This polling setting works in conjunction with your normal server poll, but unlike the server poll, it only checks to see if the client needs to initiate a full poll. So it doesn't do things like update the configuration groups, report on the compliance status, or obtain policies from the channel server. This type of intermediary poll uses less bandwidth than a full server poll, perfect for when bandwidth is a concern. At the bottom left of the polling tab, there is a tick box selected for automatically apply settings to all clients. So if I change the polling interval from 15 minutes to say 30 minutes, the next time the client polls a server, their polling interval will change to 30 minutes. This will continue to happen for all clients until they've changed their polling intervals. The Server tab has the name of the Policy Commander server. This can be a NetBIOS name, an IP address, or even a URL address. The client uses port 3133 by default to connect to the Policy Commander server. You can change the port number to another value, but you will also need to change it on the server as well. You can do this by going to the console settings and under the Server tab, change 3133 to your new client port number. There is also a timeout value for the client. By default, that's 60 seconds, so if the client fails to contact the server after 60 seconds, it will not try again until its next scheduled poll. If you have a very busy network, you can change this value to 120 seconds. The Policy Commander tab is for configuring the local enforcement of an assigned policy. Like the server poll, it can be configured to use one of 4 different polling methods, but unlike the server poll, you can configure the polling to be continuous, as it generates no network traffic. So even if the computer is not physically connected to the Policy Commander server, it will automatically enforce any policy to keep that computer compliant.